Greetings, welcome to Facts About Everything. I'm your host, James Egan. Today, we're going to look at all 32 counties of Ireland. The sad thing is, most people outside of Ireland can't name any county apart from Dublin. Nevertheless, every single county in the Emerald Isle has fascinating history, so we're going to look at every one of them. Let's dive in. No, we're not going to do the intro. Don't have time. This video is going to be already way too long. Let's go. Ireland is made up of 4 provinces: Leinster, Munster, Connacht, and Ulster. Leinster has 12 counties, which is the most: Kilkenny, Laois, Meath, Westmeath, Offaly, Dublin, Louth, Wexford, Longford, Carlow, Kildare, and Wicklow. Munster is composed of Clare, Tipperary, Limerick, Waterford, Cork, and Kerry. Connacht has 5 counties: Mayo, Sligo, Leitrim, Roscommon, and Galway. Ulster has 9 counties: Donegal, Derry, Antrim, Down, Armagh, Monaghan, Tyrone, Fermanagh, and Cavan. And if you're not from Ireland, this is going to be really important because a lot of people don't understand this. All the counties in Ulster are part of Northern Ireland, apart from Donegal, Monaghan, and Cavan. So, although they are in the north of Ireland, they are not a part of Northern Ireland. It's a bit confusing, but I hope that helps. Okay, let's look at the counties of Ireland in alphabetical order. Let's start with Antrim. Okay, I have to start by talking about what Antrim is most famous for: the Giant's Causeway. About 55 million years ago, a lava plain called the Thulian Plateau erupted in the North Atlantic. This formed 40,000 interlocking basalt columns on the coast of Antrim. Although the Giant's Causeway is the most famous creation of the Thulian Plateau, the eruption formed several other structures, including basalt columns inside Fingal's Cave in Scotland. One of the columns looks like a huge shoe and is nicknamed the Giant's Boot. Other stones in the area that stand out are the Organ, the Honeycomb, the Giant's Gate, the Camel's Hump, the Giant's Harp, and the Chimney Stacks. A 2005 poll of Radio Times readers rated the Giant's Causeway as the 4th greatest natural wonder in the UK. This causeway inspired a myth about the Irish giant Fionn McCool. When he was challenged by the Scottish giant Donard, McCool built a bridge from Antrim across the North Channel to reach Scotland to face the colossal Scot in battle. When the Irish giant saw the towering size of Donard, McCool was so scared he ran back home. When Donard crossed the bridge to Antrim and found McCool's home, the Irishman's wife, Una, disguised her husband as a baby. When Donard saw the size of the child, he assumed McCool was far bigger. Believing that McCool could easily kill him, Donard fled back to Scotland and destroyed the bridge to ensure the Irish giant wouldn't follow him. For centuries, the Irish people believed the basalt columns were the remnants of this colossal bridge. Which they aren't, because that'd be silly. Antrim is called Antrim in Irish, which means Lone Ridge. People from Antrim are nicknamed Saffrons. According to a 2001 census, only 2 counties contain a population where the majority are Protestants: Antrim and Down. Many scenes in Game of Thrones were shot in Antrim. The only time the French emerged victorious on British soil was when a French commander called Tyrone conquered the town of Carrickfergus in Antrim. Carrickfergus Castle is said to be haunted by a ghost called Buttoncap. We really need to come up with better names for our ghosts. Although Dundermott Mound seems like an innocent hill, legend states that it was used for ritual sacrifices centuries ago. Some locals believe it is a gateway to hell. Oh, hell, oh no. Antrim-born astronomer William Wilson was the first person to measure the temperature of the sun. Now let's look at County Armagh. Armagh is called Ardvacha in Irish, which means Macha's height. Macha was the Irish goddess of kingship. Archbishop of Armagh, James Usher, believes the earth was created by God on October 23rd in 4004 BC. Wow, he got down to the day. Armagh is known as Orchard County due to its large number of apple orchards. Armagh is the smallest county in Northern Ireland. Armagh is home to Ireland's largest lake, Lough Neagh. It is 151 square miles and contains 40% of the water in Northern Ireland. And Armagh is most famous for Jocelyn Bell Burnell, an astrophysicist who was born in Lurgan. Burnell discovered pulsars on November 28th in 1967. A pulsar is a beam of energy that is shot out of a neutron star. Burnell's work was so monumental to astrophysics that 3 members of her team won the Nobel Prize in Physics. Although Burnell was the one who discovered the pulsars, she didn't win anything because she was a research student at the time. Because her snub was unpopular for decades, Burnell received a special breakthrough prize in fundamental physics in 2018. The prize came with €3 million cash, which Burnell donated to the UK's Institute of Physics. County Carlow's name is derived from the Irish word Kerry, which means four-legged animals. People from Carlow are nicknamed Barrowsiders and the Scallion Eaters. Cockfighting used to be popular in Carlow during the 19th century. Cavan is nicknamed the Lakeland County since it has 365 lakes. Cavan is called An Cavan in Irish, which means the hollow. Although Cavan is nearly the same size as Tokyo, its population is only 73,183. By comparison, Tokyo's population is 13.2 million. Sorry, that's going to bug me. I have to work that in my calculator. That means Tokyo has 180 times more people. County Clare is home to a 150 square mile slab of limestone called the Burren, which means stony place. The Cliffs of Moher are the most famous cliffs in all of Ireland. These 5-mile long cliffs have appeared in many films, including Burke and Hare, The Princess Bride, The Guns of Navarone, and Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Clare was devastated by the Irish potato famine more than most counties. In 1851, there were 286,000 people living there. 10 years later, there were 212,000. Its numbers kept declining and it hit its lowest at 73,500 in 1996. According to a 2011 census, the population wasn't even half of what it once was at 118,000. Now let's look at Cork. Cork is Ireland's largest county. It is also the most southern county in the country. Cork was founded by Saint Finbar in the 7th century. Cork is nicknamed the Rebel County. The Blarney Stone is a block of limestone in Blarney Castle, Cork. Legend states that if anyone kisses the Blarney Stone, he or she will be endowed with the gift of the gab, allowing them to speak with natural wit and charm. Mick Jagger and Winston Churchill have kissed the stone. Legend states that Noah's niece, Cessair, lived in the area that became Cork 40 years before the biblical flood occurred. There's a town in Cork called Kilbrittain. Despite sounding hostile to the English, the town simply means Britain's church. Yeah, that's a bit confusing. When I lived in Ireland, I lived in Kilbride, which simply means the bride's church. People from Cork are nicknamed donkey eaters. The first annual Irish Redhead Convention was formed on August 20th, 2016 in Cork. Yes, we actually have redhead conventions in Ireland. Don't even act like you're surprised. The first steamship to cross the Atlantic was the Sirius. It left Cobh in 1838. If there's any fact that I wish for you to remember at the end of this video, it's this one. Kindred Spirits is a huge stainless steel sculpture of eagle feathers in Bailick Park in Middleton. The structure commemorates the 1847 donation made by a Native American tribe called the Choctaw during the worst period of the famine. The donation was made during the Trail of Tears in Oklahoma when the Choctaw were enduring disease and starvation. Despite many of the tribe dying, the Choctaw sent $170, which was a very large sum at the time, to Ireland to alleviate starvation. Despite the fact the Native Americans were approaching genocide, they still helped out the Irish people half a planet away when we were going through the famine. The Irish are permanently indebted to the Choctaw tribe. The world's first motorboat race took place in Cork in 1903. Cork has the largest natural harbour in the world, apart from Sydney Harbour. Great Island in Cork is the most populated island in Ireland, with 13,000 inhabitants. Founder of Ford Motor Company, Henry Ford, established his first factory outside the US in Cork. This allowed Cork to become the largest tractor manufacturer during the 1920s. The Cork Butter Museum opened in 1849. It documents the role of the butter trade in Ireland throughout history. Yeah, America, you may have the Grand Canyon, but we Irish, we have the Butter Museum. Checkmate. In all seriousness, it is a wonderful museum. Cork was named the European Capital of Culture in 2005 by Lonely Planet. The Royal Cork Yacht Club was opened in 1720, making it the oldest yacht club in the world. Cork's Fota Wildlife Park has over 70 animals, including giraffes, ostriches, and zebras, roaming through 40 acres of grassland. Some animals, like peacocks, kangaroos, and emus, are uncaged and roam around the park. Yeah, you can just hypothetically go up and stroke them. I mean, don't, because they'll kill you, but you can. Cork is called Corkig in Irish, which means marsh. This is because the city was built on a swamp. The steeplechase began in Cork in 1752. The only female ever to be initiated into the secret society, the Freemasons, was a Cork-born woman called Elizabeth St. Ledger. Dursey Island has Ireland's only cable car. It is licensed to carry only 3 people and 1 cow. County Derry was founded in the 6th century. It was renamed Londonderry in 1613 by King James I. Londonderry means maiden city. Rule of thumb, if you're in Northern Ireland, call it Londonderry. If you're in Ireland, call it Derry. Otherwise, people get really mad. Derry's Banks of the Foyle Halloween Carnival is the oldest Halloween celebration and the largest street party in Ireland. On March 21st, 1932, Amelia Earhart landed in a field in Derry and became the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic. Derry is home to Austin's, which is the world's oldest independent department store. The tallest twins in history hail from Derry. The Knipe Brothers, who were born in 1761, measured 7'2". Ireland has a king. I don't mean it had one. It has one right now. Off the coast of Donegal is Tory Island, where King Dan McRory resides. Although he has no formal powers, Dan is the spokesperson for the 200 citizens on the island, and he welcomes newcomers when they step off the boat. The first American general to die during the American Revolution was Richard Montgomery. He was born in Donegal. Bunbeg is the smallest fishing harbour in Europe. Donegal means Fort of the Foreigners. Glenveigh is 14,000 acres, making the second biggest national park in Ireland. It is considered to be the most beautiful part of Donegal, and as a haven for tourists, hikers, and fishermen. Donegal is nicknamed the Hills and the Forgotten County. Donegal is the biggest county in Ulster. Ballyshannon is the oldest town in Ireland. People from Donegal are nicknamed herring gutters. Donegal is one of the few counties that has areas where Gaelic is the inhabitants' first language. Surfers surf at the most southern point of Donegal, the Wild Atlantic Way. Although the Cliffs of Moher in Clare are Ireland's most famous cliffs, Slieve League in Donegal are 3 times taller and are one of the tallest sea cliffs in Europe. If you want to enter Donegal without entering Northern Ireland, you have to travel through a 5-mile wide gap on the very west from the towns of Manger to Bundoran. By the way, a lot of people think Belfast is a county. It isn't. It resides in County Down. Patrick Bronte was born in Down. He gave birth to 4 children: Emily, Anne, Charlotte, and Branwell. The Bronte sisters went on to write some of the most influential books of all time. Charlotte wrote Jane Eyre, Anne wrote The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, and Emily wrote Wuthering Heights. Their brother Branwell also wrote books, but they were shite. Down has the highest mountain in Northern Ireland, Slieve Donard, measuring 850 metres tall. In The Lord of the Rings, Sauron's castle is called Barad-dûr. Some of the interior shots were filmed in the water tower in Rathfrillin, Down. But that's not the only famous movie associated with Down. The Mos Eisley cantina scenes in Star Wars were shot in the Coach Inn Banbridge in Down. Although Killyleagh Castle was built in the 13th century, it is still inhabited, making it the oldest occupied castle in the country. Belfast-born Ernest Walton was the first person to artificially split an atom. He won a Nobel laureate for his work on atom smashing. Let's look at Ireland's capital, Dublin. Due to the smog, Dublin is nicknamed the Big Smoke. There are 46 rivers in Ireland's capital. O'Connell Bridge in Dublin was originally made of rope and could only carry 1 man and a donkey at a time. In 1801, the ropes were replaced with wood. It was replaced in concrete in 1863. It may be the only bridge in Ireland that is wider than it is long. O'Connell Bridge is 45 metres across and 50 metres wide, making it the longest traffic bridge in Europe. It was originally called Drogheda Street. It was also briefly called Saxville Street. One of the oldest place names in Ireland is Tallaght in Dublin. It means the Plague Cemetery. Although Ireland had little involvement in World War II, it was bombed 7 times by the Germans from 1940 to 1941. Malahide Castle in Dublin has belonged to the Talbot family since it was built by Richard Talbot in the 12th century. The building is said to have 5 ghosts, including a court jester dwarf called Puck. Isn't there a superhero dwarf called Puck? I mean rhetorical, I know there is. Another ghost is of Miles Corbett, who was hanged, drawn, and quartered. It is believed that the ghost appears in full armour when approached by visitors and then breaks into pieces before their eyes. The largest cake baked in Dublin weighed 190 pounds. It was made in 1988 and stood untouched in the Mansion House until 1991. In 2004, pranksters put up a fake plaque on the O'Connell Bridge which read, "This plaque commemorates Father Pat Noyes, advisor to Peter Clancy. He died under suspicious circumstances when his carriage plunged into the Liffey on August 10, 1919. Bizarrely, no one realised this plaque was fake until 2006. Although it's now public knowledge that the plaque isn't real, it's still a part of O'Connell Bridge. The first armoured tank was built in 1911 in Blackrock, Dublin, when Winston Churchill requested a vehicle that could deflect bullets, flatten barbed wire, and cross trenches. The Abbey in 26 Lower Abbey Street is Ireland's most famous theatre. It was the first state-subsidised theatre in the English-speaking world. Since it opened in 1904, IV, the Abbey has helped many actors and playwrights become more prolific, including W.B. Yeats and George Bernard Shaw. And with Dublin out of the way, now let's move on to County Fermanagh. Renowned poets and playwrights Oscar Wilde and Samuel Beckett were born in Fermanagh. Fermanagh is the wettest county in Ireland, which is why it's nicknamed the Flood Zone. Irish people always complain Ireland's wet. You think it's wet? In Fermanagh, there was one time where it rained 38 days in a row. In 2010, 2 police officers from Fermanagh drove into the village of Cliffs and set up roadblocks so they could search cars for any suspicious paraphernalia. There is just one gigantic problem. Fermanagh is in Northern Ireland. The officers accidentally drove 100 yards into the Republic of Ireland to enter Cliffs in Donegal. You know what that means? They were blocking roads and searching cars, even though they don't have any jurisdiction. Realising their mistake, they got in the car and fled back to their county. Now let's look at County Galway, who pretty much everybody says is the best county in Ireland, because it is. Christopher Columbus visited Galway in 1477. Claddagh rings originate from Galway. These rings are cut to form 2 clasped hands holding a heart. If the heart is facing outward, it means the wearer is seeking love. If the heart symbol is facing inward, it means the wearer's heart is taken. In 2016, the website Top 10s created a list of the top 10 hidden vacation gems in Europe and rated Galway at number 1. Lough Neagh is the largest lake in the Republic of Ireland. People from Galway are nicknamed the Tribesmen and the Herring Chokers. Kildare Bay in Galway is the only fjord in the country. By the way, be careful typing in Kildare in a search engine because a lot of weird stuff comes up about Hillary Clinton, which to an Irish person you're just like, what? Oh, this next fact is sweet but very sad. In Ireland, especially Galway, it's quite common for people to wear very thick, baggy jumpers. And there's a very specific reason why that is. The actual term for these jumpers are Aran Island sweaters. For years, sailors would wear them before they went on dangerous voyages. The jumper would often be the only thing to wash up on shore, so the family would know the sailors drowned at sea. Galway is home to the fish and chip shop McDonough's, which opened in 1902. It is considered to be the best fish and chip shop in Ireland, and is one of the best in the entire world. The interior walls of the restaurant are covered in quotes from celebrities, actors, singers, and politicians who have eaten at McDonough's and claimed it is the best fish and chip shop they have ever eaten. What I'm trying to say is, if you ever visit Galway, go there. Galway City is the 3rd largest city in the Republic of Ireland. Although Galway is perceived as Ireland's most beautiful county, it's a miracle it exists. A fire swept through the entire county in 1473. The bubonic plague spread through Galway in 1649, killing 3,700 people. The plague was so devastating that the county's inhabitants abandoned Galway for years. The famine of 1845 wiped out 20% of the population. The cannons on Eyre Square were captured from the Russians during the Crimean War. Galway has more Irish speakers than any other country. At least 10% of the population can speak fluent Irish. I can also speak Irish, but I'm not gonna. Since the people of Galway are very connected to Irish music, dance, and language, the county is known as the cultural heart of Ireland. Nelson Mandela is an honorary graduate of UCG in Galway. When Queen's College opened in 1849, only 68 students attended. Nowadays, about 20,000 attend. Galway is seen as the festival capital of Ireland since it hosts an average of 122 festivals per year. In 2006, Hollywood legend Martin Sheen attended a 15-week semester in the National University of Ireland in Galway to study English literature, philosophy, and oceanography. Years ago, Sheen flunked his college entrance exam. Although he went on to become a successful actor, Sheen promised he would complete his education. Worried that he'd be bothered by students if he attended a college in the US, Sheen decided to attend the semester in Ireland. By the way, my brother was at that same school, and Martin Sheen was there at the same time. When the students were asking who he was, they said, he's just some old American guy. County Kerry. Kerry has been nicknamed the Kingdom since the 1st century. The most well-known festival in Kerry is the Rose of Tralee, which celebrates the most beautiful women in Ireland. There are 32 contestants, each for a different county. The objective is to crown the woman who is considered to be the most lovely and fair. The festival has been presented by Terry Wogan, Ray Darcy, and Gay Byrne. Weirdly, the Rose of Tralee hasn't had a winner from Kerry since 1964. The Old Glenbeg Hotel is the oldest hotel in Ireland. Ireland's highest mountain is Carrontoohil in the McKillicuddy Reeks in Kerry. The mountain is 1,038 metres tall. Although Michael Fassbender was born in Germany, he moved to Kerry when he was 2. Ireland's oldest thatched cottage, Sheehan's Thatched House, is in Finooge Cross. It is over 300 years old. Queen Victoria stayed at Killarney House in Kerry in 1861. The Puck Fair is over 400 years old, making it Ireland's oldest fair. From August the 10th to the 12th, 80,000 people visit the Celtic festival of Lough Neagh, which represents the beginning of the harvest. During the festival, a goat is crowned king. This is because the goat was a symbol of pagan fertility. Charlie Chaplin visited Kerry many times with his family in the 1960s and 70s. He regularly stayed at the Butler Arms Hotel. Of the top 100 greatest golf courses in Ireland, 9 of them are in Kerry. Bill Clinton and Tiger Woods played at the golf course in Ballybunion. In Scotia's grave, Trahanachmy, lies the grave of Friel, who was the daughter of an Egyptian pharaoh. In the James Bond series, the main character receives his missions from M. M was inspired by the head of the British Secret Service, William Melville, who is from Sneem, Kerry. Melville himself was referred to as M to hide his identity while he developed tactics for the Secret Service. County Kildare is nicknamed the Short Grass County. People from Kildare are known as Lily-whites. Kildare means Church of the Oak. Kildare-born Ernest Shackleton took part in the 1901 to 1904 Antarctic expedition across the Ross Ice Shelf. Hollywood artist Michelle Burke won the Academy Awards for her makeup in the 1981 film Quest for Fire and the 1992 film Dracula. One of Ireland's most famous broadcasters, Ray D'Arcy, was born in Kildare. He presented many shows including The Den, Blackboard Jungle, Too Fat, and Today FM. Hungry Hall is a cottage in Kildare that is believed to be haunted by an evil witch's spirit. Kildare is home to Ireland's oldest Catholic school building, Glongaus Wood College. Although it was built in the 13th century, it didn't become a school until 1814. It's said to be haunted by a ghost dog because, as you can tell, every flippin' building in Ireland needs to have some ghost in it, even if it's a dog. Kilkenny is nicknamed the Marble County due to the marble quarries which provide stones for pavements. Kilkenny-born James Hoban oversaw the construction of the White House. Kilkenny's flag consists of 2 vertical bands, one of black and one of orange. Up until 1926, Armagh had the same flag. Kilkenny means Church of Cannock. It is named after St. Canice, who spread Christianity across Ireland and Scotland. That's right, St. Patrick was the only one to spread Christianity. The last reported witch in Ireland was a Kilkenny woman called Dame Alice Keitler, who was born in 1280. Since her 4 husbands died, she was accused of poisoning them. Maybe she was just a terrible cook. Walt Disney's great-grandfather, Arundel Disney, was from Kilkenny. Okay guys, we're going to talk about the sexiest county in Ireland, Laois, which, by complete coincidence, I'm from. Laois is nicknamed Poor and Proud. Wow, I really shouldn't have bigged up Laois before I said that fact. The Irish Steam Preservation Society is a museum in Laois filled with engines and machinery that were powered by steam. I have never heard of that. Laois was originally known as Queen's County in honour of Bloody Mary. There's a Quaker museum in Mount Mellick in Laois. Laois is the only county in Ireland that does not touch a county that touches the sea. Leitrim is nicknamed the Wild Rose County and Lovely Leitrim. Apart from Donegal, Leitrim is the only Irish county that only touches one other county. Limerick is nicknamed the Treaty County. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian had their honeymoon at the Castle Oliver in Limerick. However, they left because it was too big. Also, they didn't pay their bill of €15,000. It really devastated the castle. They were really angry about that. There's a town in Limerick called Effin. It's really confusing because when we're trying to say the F word without swearing, you say, I hurt my effing thumb. So it's confusing when you're living there and you're trying to get the effing bus. There's been many misunderstandings. Dolores McNamara won €115 million on the Euro Millions lottery, which is Ireland's biggest win to date. There is a village in Limerick called Hospital. There is no hospital there. People from Limerick are nicknamed Shannon Ciders and Buttermilks. A limerick is a 5-line poem that has a rhyme scheme of AABBA. Although these poems are named after the county of Limerick, nobody knows why. The University of Limerick has Ireland's longest footbridge, measuring 350 metres. There are 10 places called Limerick in the United States. The oldest human burial in Ireland was found in Limerick. It dates back to at least 7,320 BC. After 800 people signed a petition in 2007, the town of Doon changed its name to Dunblesk, which means Fort of the Harlots. You want to be called the Fort of the Harlots on purpose? County Longford is called Longfort in Irish, which means ship port. People from Longford are nicknamed the Slashers. Slasher used to mean man of honour and is derived from Miles the Slasher O'Reilly, who was killed in 1644 defending the Bridge of Finney. This is very confusing nowadays because in Ireland, slash means taking a quick piss. Mel Gibson and Will Ferrell have Longford ancestry. Louth is the smallest county in Ireland. By comparison, Texas is 843 times bigger. Louth is called Lou in Irish, which means smaller. This is a reference to its small size. It is also nicknamed the Wee County. John Coffey built a prison in Dundalk, Louth in 1853. He was the first inmate. County Mayo is called Vaio in Irish, which means Plain of the Yew Trees. The Cade Fields in Mayo is the most detailed Stone Age site ever found. Its field system is 6,000 years old. It measures 48 miles, making it Europe's largest stone enclosure. Mayo is nicknamed the Heather County. Nearly all the Botox in the world comes from one factory in Mayo. Mayo was devastated by the famine more than any other county. During this time, it was known as Mayo, God help us. The largest island off Ireland's coast is Achill Island near Mayo, measuring 56 square miles. Achill Island is home to the 688-metre tall Croaghoon, which are the second highest cliffs in Europe. Achill Island had an unprecedented experience in 2017, a returning beach. In 1984, storms in the town of Dough stripped the sand away from the beach until all that remained was a rocky surface. 33 years later, a series of high spring tides covered the rocks with sand, causing the beach to return. Okay, lads, come here. If you ever want to propose to your woman, go to Mayo because of this. Ashford Castle in Mayo is often used for marriage proposals because of its unique package. Not only will the guests be treated with a massage, champagne, a boat ride, and a candlelit dinner, the establishment has trained an owl called Dingle to swoop in with an engagement ring. Meath is nicknamed the Royal County. Meath is called Mee in Irish. It means middle. Due to the heat wave in July 2018, the grass in Boyne Valley Mead dried up to reveal a 5,000-year-old Neolithic enclosure. Europe's largest zinc mine, the Tara mine, is near Navan. It is the 5th largest zinc mine in the world. You can see all of Ireland's provinces at the same time from the top of the Hill of Tara in Meath. Until the 1920s, you could legally marry somebody in Telltown, Meath on February the 1st by walking towards them. You could divorce them by walking away from them on the exact same spot the following February the 1st. In 1761, a family of itinerants from Navan were refused entry to Dublin. The group were forced to settle on the outskirts of the city. Over the years, the family formed a new town called Rush. A quarter of a millennium later, nearly the entire population of Rush can trace their roots back to this one family. Although Meath's not that well known, it probably has Ireland's greatest structure. Ireland's most famous prehistoric landmark is Newgrange in Meath. It was built in 3200 BC, meaning that it's 600 years older than the pyramids of Giza and 1,000 years older than Stonehenge. It is the most well-preserved passage grave in all of Europe. Since Newgrange's main room was designed to align with the rising sun on the winter solstice, the structure is the world's oldest solar observatory. If you are ever in the Irish Midlands, I would advise you to go there more than anywhere else. Just outside of Newgrange is a passage grave called Noath. It contains over 30% of all the megalithic art in Western Europe. Monaghan is nicknamed the Oriel County. Monaghan is called Monaghan in Irish, which means a thickly overgrown area. Monaghan is best known for setting up schools where students learn to create Carrick-Cross lace. This material was incorporated into Kate Middleton's dress when she wed Prince William in 2014. The material is so popular in the county, the Little Lace Museum was set up in Dublin. Offaly used to be called King's County. Offaly's flag is identical to Ireland's flag. It's a bit unoriginal. In 1922, workers in Leap Castle discovered several skeletons impaled on wooden spikes. There were so many, it took 3 carts to remove all the bones. To most teenagers, the most famous person in Ireland is Sean William McLaughlin. Although that name may not ring a bell, he's best known by his YouTube channel, Jack Septic Eye. He has 19 million subscribers, making him the most subscribed channel in Ireland. Wow, I have less. Barack Obama has Irish ancestry. His great-great-great-grandfather, Fulmouth Carney, was born in Moneygall, Offaly. Weirdly, that's not the only connection Offaly has with Barack Obama. The dress that Michelle Obama wore for her husband's inauguration was made by George Larkin's company. Larkin is from Edenderry in Offaly. County Roscommon is called Roscommon in Irish, which means St. Comon's Wood. St. Comon was the founder of Roscommon. People from Roscommon are nicknamed sheep stealers. The Arinya mine in Arinya was formed 400 years ago. It was Ireland's first and only coal mine. According to the 2008 report, people from Roscommon had the highest life expectancy in Ireland. The Strokestown Park House and Famine Museum has the most extensive records of the famine in Ireland. The Cave of Cats, Oynagat, resides in Rathcrohan. According to Irish mythology, the cave is a portal to the other world. Every Halloween, the goddess of life and death is said to enter our realm to lay waste to the land. I hate when she destroys Ireland. It was terrible the last time, which is why my country is no longer there. County Sligo is nicknamed Land of Heart's Desire. Originally, Sligo's flag was completely black. Now it's black and white. In 1830, Colonel Edward Cooper created the Markree Observatory in Markree Castle. It was the first cast iron telescope ever. Sligo is called Shilgach in Irish, which means abounding in shells. People from Sligo are called herring pickers due to the country's fishing industry. In 2015, a storm in Sligo became so intense it uprooted a tree. Like a scene from a horror movie, a 1,000-year-old skeleton was found in the roots of the tree. Upon studying its skeleton, archaeologists found trauma on its ribs, implying that the person was stabbed to death. The Paschal cemeteries in Carlow are made up of 30 megalithic tombs, making them the largest megalithic tombs in all of the United Kingdom. Tipperary is nicknamed the Premier County. During the 1930s, Irish people in Tipperary Hill, New York, threw stones at traffic lights because the red light, which represents Britain, was above the green light, which represents Ireland. You know it's not the light's fault, don't you? You know the light isn't consciously aware of Ireland's troubled history with Britain, don't you? Tyrone is nicknamed the Red Hand County. Tyrone is the largest county in Northern Ireland. Tyrone is called Tyrone in Irish, which means land of Owen. Owen was a friend of St. Patrick. The town of Omagh is in Tyrone. It was founded in 792 AD, making it one of the oldest towns in Ireland. Bog snorkeling has been an annual competition in Peatlands Park in Dungannon since 2004. It's like normal snorkeling, but with way more sewage. County Waterford was founded in 914 AD by the Vikings, making it the oldest county in Ireland. Waterford was originally known as whatever the hell this says. I can't speak Viking. This means Ram Fjord. Robert Boyle of Lismore Castle, Waterford, is regarded as the first modern chemist as well as a pioneer of modern experimental scientific methods. Meath and Westmeath used to be merged together as the 5th province of Ireland. The Leviathan of Parsonstown in Westmeath was the world's largest telescope when it was built in 1845. It held onto the record until 1917. Athlone is considered to be the unofficial capital of the Irish Midlands. The town lies in Westmeath and Roscommon. It is almost at the centre of the country. Wexford was originally known as, yep, still can't speak Viking. This is Norse for Inlet of the Mudflats. Wexford is nicknamed the Model County. Wexford is the only Irish county that has the colour purple on its flag. Loftus Hall in the Hook Peninsula was opened in 1350. It is believed to be haunted by the devil. US President John F. Kennedy had ancestry in Dungannon Town, Wexford. He was the first sitting US President to visit Ireland. His sister, Jean Kennedy Smith, became an ambassador to Ireland from 1993 to 1998. The Hook Lighthouse in Wexford has been operational since 1172, making it one of the world's oldest lighthouses. People from Wexford are nicknamed Yellow Bellies. Although a yellow belly means cowardly in the US, the term applies to the yellow sachets worn by the Wexford hurling team. And the final county, Wicklow. Wicklow is called Kilvanton in Irish, which means Church of the Toothless One. 3-time Oscar winner Daniel Day-Lewis lives in Wicklow. His father, Cecil, was a poet from Laois. People from Wicklow are nicknamed goat suckers since feral goats roam around the county. But no one sucks them, do they? Powerscourt Falls is the tallest waterfall in Ireland, measuring 106 metres, which is 350 feet. And the final fact is, in August 2018, a wildfire on Bray Head on the coast of Wicklow revealed large whitewashed letters engraved into the land that read Éire, which is Gaelic for Ireland. These signs were used in World War II to guide American bombers towards the country since it was neutral. Although 85 signs were built between 1942 and 1943, most of them having disintegrated over time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to talk anymore because my jaw is so painful from talking like an hour straight. Please let me know if there's any other aspects of Ireland you want me to talk about, like the famine or the mythology or leprechauns. Let me know and I'll upload a video as soon as possible. To learn more facts, check out my books. They're available on Amazon on paperback and Kindle. Thanks for watching. See you again.